will be studying the mediastinum today. Now, what is mediastinum? Mediastinum is the space between the two lungs. So if we draw a sagittal section, this is the manubrium and this is the sternum, right? This is the diaphragm. This is the vertebral column. This is the superior thoracic aperture. This is the inferior thoracic aperture, which is closed by diaphragm. This is the vertebral column. This is the sternum. This is the manubrium. This is the superior thoracic aperture, which is closed by the suprapleural membrane. Okay. And here is the pericardium. Here is the pericardium. Now this vertebra here, which corresponds to the manubriosternal angle, is T4. So what I have drawn here is the space between the two lungs. So the space between the two lungs is the mediastinum. And in this space, it is divided into superior mediastinum. This is the superior mediastinum and the inferior mediastinum. It is divided into superior mediastinum and inferior mediastinum by an imaginary line passing through the manubriosternal angle and which posteriorly passes through T4 level. The inferior mediastinum is further divided into anterior mediastinum, middle mediastinum, and posterior mediastinum. And this is the superior mediastinum. So there is superior mediastinum and inferior mediastinum. Inferior mediastinum is divided into anterior, middle, and posterior mediastinum. Now let us check the contents of the mediastinum. So in the center portion, I'm drawing this diagram of the mediastinum: manubrium, sternum, diaphragm, vertebral column. Okay. Grossly, this line at the level of T4. And here is the heart and the pericardium. Now what happens is the ascending aorta starts from the left ventricle and then it becomes arch of aorta. It becomes arch of aorta. And then the descending aorta again starts at T4 level. So let's start writing the contents of the superior mediastinum over here. So arch of aorta. Arch of aorta. Arch of aorta and its branches. Its branches. So what are the branches? The brachiocephalic trunk, right? Then the left common carotid artery, the left subclavian artery. The left subclavian artery. So this all will be the content of the superior mediastinum. Then there is this phrenic nerve which is coming and going like this. So I write here phrenic nerve, which goes from superior mediastinum to middle mediastinum. So already I know one more content of middle mediastinum, that is phrenic nerve. Then there is vagus nerve. Vagus nerve passes from superior mediastinum to posterior mediastinum. So when I am going to write the content of posterior mediastinum, I know that vagus is a content. Now there is one more. Now this is starting from the left ventricle. Starting from the right ventricle is the pulmonary trunk, which goes and divides into two pulmonary arteries. So again, the two pulmonary arteries will be the contents of the superior mediastinum, while pulmonary trunk and the ascending aorta will be the content of the middle mediastinum. Then there is trachea, which is coming down, which is almost sticking to the posterior part of the fibrous pericardium and dividing. So we consider trachea as a part of middle mediastinum, but it is there in the superior mediastinum. Then there is esophagus. This is the esophagus. Okay, so this is esophagus, this is trachea. So I have few more contents. Esophagus, I have the trachea I am adding as one more content of the superior mediastinum. Apart from that, there are few muscles. There are few muscles which arise from the sternum, and they are the origins of the sternohyoid, sternothyroid, and longus colli. So I add here sternohyoid muscle, the sternothyroid muscle, and the origin of the longus colli. Origin of the longus colli. So these all are again contents there. Then thymus, yes, thymus will be one of the contents. Thymus will be one of the content, and the thoracic duct, and the thoracic duct will be one of the contents. So I'll again repeat the contents of the superior mediastinum. There is trachea, there is esophagus, there is arch of aorta, brachiocephalic common carotid arteries, and pulmonary arteries. It's better to consider the pulmonary arteries in the in the middle mediastinum instead of considering them in the superior mediastinum, because they don't rise so much high. They don't rise. Some part of it may rise it, but mainly we can consider them not in the superior mediastinum. So then amongst the veins, there will be the right and the left brachiocephalic vein, the right and the left brachiocephalic veins, which will be uniting and forming the SVC. So SVC, so the right brachiocephalic vein and the left brachiocephalic vein uniting to form the superior vena cava. Yes, they will be one of the contents. The superior intercostal vein, the superior intercostal vein will be one of the content. Amongst the nerves, we said phrenic nerve, vagus nerve, and along with that, there will be the cardiac nerves. There will be the cardiac nerves, and also there will be the left recurrent laryngeal nerve. Left recurrent laryngeal nerve, which will be one of the content of the superior mediastinum. Okay, so these all will be the contents of the superior mediastinum. Boundaries of the superior mediastinum: anteriorly will be bounded by manubrium, posteriorly will be bounded by T1 to T4 vertebra. On each side will be the mediastinal pleura, and superiorly will be the suprapleural membrane, and inferiorly will be the imaginary line passing from the angle of Loewy to T4. And these all will be the contents of the superior mediastinum. Okay. Now let us see the contents of the anterior mediastinum. Anterior mediastinum as such doesn't have too many contents because it is bounded by the body of the sternum and pericardium behind. And superiorly is the imaginary line and inferiorly is the diaphragm, and both sides is mediastinal pleura. Mainly here are only sternopericardial ligaments, nothing else. Sternopericardial ligaments. Okay. Sternopericardial ligaments are there. And there are few lymphatics. There are these mediastinal branches of the internal thoracic artery, and maybe thymus if it is extending. Okay, the mediastinal branches of the internal thoracic artery. That's all. Some lymphatics here and there, areolar tissue. Now let us talk about the contents. Now, two more important mediastina we have to consider now. And in one page, I'm going to cover all this. And now let's talk about the middle mediastinum. Okay, middle mediastinum is, it's mainly occupied by the pericardium and it contents, and the anteriorly is almost the sternum. Posteriorly, esophagus. This esophagus is considered as the anterior-most structure in the posterior mediastinum. So bounded by esophagus and descending aorta, azygous vein. On each side is mediastinal pleura. Main content of the middle mediastinum, main content is heart. Okay, heart with pericardium. Heart with pericardium. And now we know that ascending aorta goes up to T4 level and becomes arch of aorta and enters the superior mediastinum. So ascending aorta. Okay. There will be the pulmonary trunk and the pulmonary arteries. Initially, we had just mistakenly written pulmonary arteries as a part of superior mediastinum, but pulmonary arteries are the part of middle mediastinum. Then this superior vena cava, which is formed up in the superior mediastinum, its terminal portion, the terminal portion of SVC is there in the middle mediastinum. Okay, and opening into it is the arch of azygos, which is also there in the middle mediastinum, azygos vein. And then we have the right and left pulmonary veins, the right and the left pulmonary veins. Amongst the nerves, there is phrenic nerve. Amongst the nerve, there is phrenic nerve, which is coming from the superior mediastinum. Okay, and some tracheobronchial lymph nodes. Then there is this deep cardiac plexus. Deep cardiac plexus will be here, and tracheobronchial nodes. Okay, so basically you have to understand that even the bifurcation of trachea, the bifurcation of trachea is considered as part of the medial mediastinum. Okay, the bifurcation of the trachea and the right and the left principal bronchus. That means this part is the middle mediastinum, where we have the ascending aorta, pulmonary trunk, and this dividing into pulmonary artery, which don't go so high up. And so heart with pericardium amongst the arteries is ascending aorta, pulmonary trunk, and the two pulmonary arteries. Amongst the veins is the inferior vena cava, the azygos opening into it, and the right and the left pulmonary veins. Amongst the nerves is phrenic and the deep cardiac plexus. And then there is trachea and the right and the left principal bronchus. Now let us come to this area, which is the posterior mediastinum. Posterior mediastinum anteriorly is bound by the pericardium. Anteriorly is bound by the pericardium. Posteriorly is bound by T5 to T12 vertebrae. T5 to the T12 vertebrae. On each side is mediastinal pleura. Now let us check the contents. The contents are esophagus. The anterior most structure is esophagus, and then there is descending thoracic aorta. There is descending thoracic aorta. Okay. There is descending thoracic aorta and its branches. These branches we have studied in the previous class. Okay. Then amongst the veins, there is azygos vein. Amongst the veins, there is azygos vein, there is hemiazygos vein, there is accessory hemiazygos vein. Okay. Amongst the nerves, there will be vagus. There will be the splanchnic nerves, the greater, lesser, and the least splanchnic nerves. Okay. And amongst the lymph nodes, there will be the posterior mediastinal lymph nodes. And most important thing is thoracic duct. Most important thing is thoracic duct. Okay. Thoracic duct will be there. So the contents of the posterior mediastinum are esophagus, most important, descending thoracic aorta and its branches, azygos vein, hemiazygos vein, accessory hemiazygos veins. Nerves is vagus. That means phrenic is in the middle mediastinum. Vagus is in the posterior mediastinum. Okay. Then the splanchnic nerves, and amongst the lymphatics, apart from the posterior mediastinal lymph nodes and all, there will be the thoracic duct. One applied part of this is that this is the vertebral column and this is T4. There are three fasciae. All of us know there are this pretracheal fascia which goes and merges here. Then there is prevertebral fascia which is attached to T4 level. So if there is any pus formation, so this is pretracheal fascia, this is prevertebral fascia. Prevertebral fascia is attached to T4 level. So any pus behind the prevertebral fascia will be restricted to superior mediastinum only. Will be restricted to superior mediastinum only. Any pus anterior to pretracheal fascia will pass from superior mediastinum into the anterior mediastinum. Now, any pus between the pretracheal fascia and prevertebral fascia will pass from superior mediastinum to posterior mediastinum. Okay. So this we need to understand. Pus behind the prevertebral fascia is restricted to the superior mediastinum because prevertebral fascia is attached to T4. Pus anterior to the pretracheal fascia passes from superior mediastinum to anterior mediastinum. Pus between pretracheal and prevertebral passes from superior to posterior mediastinum. Apart from this, in the applied anatomy of the mediastinum, we should be talking about the mediastinal syndrome. The mediastinal syndrome. So basically, more very important structures are there in the mediastinum. So obstruction to the SVC, this can cause engorgement of the veins in the upper half of the body. Then there is pressure over trachea, which can cause dyspnea. There is pressure over esophagus, which can cause dysphagia. Then there is pressure over the left recurrent laryngeal nerve, which can cause hoarseness of voice. Pressure over the phrenic can cause paralysis of the diaphragm. The pressure on the intercostal nerves will give pain, causing intercostal neuralgia. And pressure over the vertebral column can cause the erosion of the vertebral bodies. So even if you remember that pressure over trachea causing dyspnea, that is difficulty in breathing. Pressure over the esophagus causing dysphagia, causing difficulty in swallowing. Pressure over the left recurrent laryngeal nerve causing difficulty in speaking. So that is the mediastinal syndrome. Of course, if you realize on the right side, there is SVC and azygous vein. So right side, there is much more space. On the left side, there is the arch of aorta and its branches. So in the superior mediastinum, there is lot of space on the right side. So the fluid accumulation commonly takes place on the right side. There is space on the right side for the veins to dilate, while on the left side, it is jam-packed with the major arterial trunks. Okay, so that's all about a short revision on mediastinum. So we stop here and thank you very much.